Drake has always been a rapper that other rappers wanted to challenge. A lot have debated the winners, whether Kendrick Lamar, Pusha T, or Meek Mill. When Drake rapped, "Diss me and you'll never hear a reply," maybe it was because at this point of his career, he had already had to respond to multiple people dissing him in his own hometown. Today we're going to discuss every time a Toronto rapper dissed Drake and how he squashed the beefs. Make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and comment below and let me know what you think about this story right here. 2005, very early in Drake's career, he would pull up to the clubs right off of the subway to prove his skills in the local Toronto rap scene. At the time and now, the streets were gritty and the rap scene was no different. Rap crews like Point Blank, Hustle Men, Empire, Khalifa, J-Stacks, and more were starting to get attention in the growing Toronto rap scene. At the time, there was a tug of war with acts on the cleaner side of the Toronto rap scene with rappers like Cardinal Official, Socrates, Choclair, and groups like the Brass Monks that would get played on the first hip-hop and R&B commercial station in Toronto, Flow 93.5 FM. In order for the street artists to get played, they needed to be an alternative, and by the end of 2001, we got that alternative through the University of Toronto's radio program. Project Bounce would be born through the mind of Albar Nation Hassan, and through a deal he made with the university, he was able to have his own show running from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. 7 days a week. By 2002, he had a team of DJs in there like DJ Law, DJ Ritz, DJ Juggy, and more, playing the grimiest hip-hop at the time out of the US and from Canada. From there is when Drake and other Toronto artists were able to emerge. Throughout that time in 2000s, there was also a re-emergence in the live show scene where local rappers were able to pack the stage with their crew and perform. This is where a young Drake would cut his lyrical teeth as he would pop out at local shows without even being on the bill to perform, only there for the sheer opportunity to get into a cypher after the event to display his freestyle skills. Trust me, this was a fact because I was right there. However, at the time, most of us weren't even really tapped into that whole Degrassi show and didn't even know that he was on TV. In 2000, Drake joined the hit TV series Degrassi: The Next Generation, which was a spin-off of the original Degrassi Junior High, which was only shown in Canada. We had no idea that he was now the infamous Jimmy Brooks character that was bound to a wheelchair from some after-school gangster shit.
You made me do this.
At the time, from my recollection, it was pretty cool and beef-free for Drake until 2006 when he linked up with the young producer by the name of Matthew Boy One Samuels and claimed the city. In February of 2006, DJ P Plus perked listeners' ears with the infectious high-pitched sample that blared into the homes and cars before the drums hit with Drizzy's lyrics cutting through spitting.
Record at my backpack, underground fans get to skipping. Back, Southern Town fans get to tipping.
From there it was on, and to make things even better, DJ P Plus had just scored a gig for the radio show and commercial station mentioned earlier, Flow 93.5 FM, and used the opportunity to introduce Drake to a commercial audience. At this point, Drake was buzzing crazy in Toronto, but with buzz comes beef.
Shout out my team, the offense. Shout out A.W.O.L. Shout out Toronto. Shout out everybody that's been supporting Aristo.
Aristo was a young artist coming from a spot right outside of Toronto called Brampton. He was also part of a crew called Team Offense with other artists like Littles the General, R.I.P., Sazy, Caesar Leone, Chosen, and Quick Matthews.
I have history with Drake. I don't know if you remember Team Offense.
I do.
In the Wise Guys.
Or ain't it? My spaceship was invaded by an alien face with the alias Drake, but I stay with a steak, not the one that ate off your plate. The harpoon I'm about to place in your heart soon.
This is me, bro. I remember everything.
I don't know if you remember. I was actually in the offense. So like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like, I remember that battle, and that shit is just a super important moment in my career because like that was when everyone in Canada kind of knew who I was, like us coming at them and Littles kind of throwing me in that fight, and I was loving it. But I've seen Drake plenty of times since then.
It all started in Windsor Sports Weekend in 2006 when Aristo's Team Offense rushed Drake and a physical altercation ensued. Afterward, Team Offense got approached by members of Drake's friend groups that included a crazy Scarborough rapper by the name of Young Tony. If this name sounds familiar to you, it's because he changed his name to Hush or OVO Hush and is a member that is rarely seen in music videos or on camera at all. Allegedly, Young Tony and some goons approached Aristo and he ended up running away. At this point, the street beef spilled into the music and Aristo sent the first shot with his track, Good Night, Good Luck. With a team of hungry rappers getting at Drake, it was perfect that he had formed a team of his own with the aforementioned Young Tony along with Bishop Brigante out of Scarborough. Also, from frequent trips to the University of Kitchener to smash girls, they got close with Mississauga artists JD Era and Ken Masters. The team decided to put together a diss song of their own, and as they all lived in different places, they all recorded their verses in separate studios. It was Young Tony who actually pushed the crew to release the song, and he got everyone to email their verses so we could put everything together. From there, Good Night, Good Riddance was born, and immediately Project Bounce ran the song in heavy rotation, sending the local Toronto rap scene crazy, as well as the city dubbing the team the Wise Guys.
Use another nigga as a threat though. I said you a bitch, I heard a 7-man echo. You saying I hustle, my source for currency's coke. They saying you never moving it and currently broke.
At this point, a flurry of songs were being sent back and forth, and the online message boards were buzzing. At the time, the main place to get real-time commentary from people were the message boards, and in Canada, the main site for that was Hip Hop Canada. Under the name Father Duck, Drake would often engage in back and forths on the infamous message boards, as well as make posts. In the streets, things continued, and it was even rumored that at the video shoot for the Toronto classic 100 Strong Arm,
the cops will have to bring out mops, a whole lot of chalk, lots of Febreze, cause I ain't really down with that scuffle shit.
that Aristo would not get out of his car due to Young Tony being on the scene. Rapper Bishop Brigante even trolled Aristo by calling into a preacher network pretending to be Aristo looking for the Lord's guidance.
I'm okay, Paul. I'm just, I'm being sidetracked myself, Paul.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
In what way?
Well, see, I do music, Paul.
Uh-huh.
And my real name is Brianna.
At this point, it seemed clear that Drake's career started to push forward with the release of his first mixtape, Room for Improvement. The Room for Improvement mixtape had multiple features from local singer Marcus Voice, as well as remixes like Trey Songz, All About the Game, Freestyle, and Lupe Fiasco, Kick Push. Drake was becoming a hot commodity on the Toronto rap scene, from getting a lot of airplay on Flow 93.5 FM and his ongoing role on Degrassi, which was also sold to Nickelodeon to be played in the US. This would be the perfect time for more features and more beef.
I want to say that on the internet right now they got these pictures up. They were saying that we were fighting at the Stylist Awards, but there's no fighting going on. It's actually a great time in Toronto. I've never seen so much unity. I've never seen so much unity in the city. So to come home and see the unity is great, man. Major, you know it's love. JD, you know it's love. So and I just want to say, man, if you can't show your face in this room, then you're doing something wrong. Real shit.
Big salute to the sponsors Diamond Club, with delivery all over the GTA and now all across Canada. They got the best selection of flour, edibles, and pens, and all types of goodies that you need. You can find them on their Instagram page, DiamondClub_Canada, or you can find them on the 7 Days of Weed app, as well as the Leafy Things app. Let them know that you heard about them through the We Love Hip Hop Network, and they may give you a discount. Big salute to Diamond Club. Cheer! Big Page is a Toronto rapper from the west end of Toronto and was making a buzz in the city with his new song, Ballin' Is My Hobby, in 2008.
Ballin' is my hobby, ballin' is my hobby, ballin' is my hobby, ballin' is my hobby.
The song was getting played on commercial and college radio stations, accompanied by the music video, which was being played on Canada's music TV station, Much Music. At this point, Drake had released his second mixtape, Comeback Season, and was becoming the main rapper being played locally. By late 2008, Big Page linked up with Drake to get him on a feature for his new song, I'm Still Fly.
I'm sky high and I dare anybody to try and cut my way.
At the time, Drake was just discovering that people were taking to his singing as well as his raps and decided to lean into it more. For this song, he blessed Page with an amazing hook that started off the song before Page's first verse came in. The hook was so amazing that was the only thing that I used to hear when the song used to ring off in the club. It was to the point that I didn't even know it was a Big Page song. To add insult to injury, Drake made a remix of the song minus Big Page. This is where the animosity started from Big Page. In 2009, Drake released the first version of the classic mixtape, So Far Gone. The mixtape had a lot of bangers and some sneak disses that a few people took the wrong way. Specifically, the team that I managed at the time, Empire, as well as Big Page and others. On the remix for the Jay-Z and Beanie Siegel song Ignorant Shit, Drake rapped,
Came big and swerving right into my peers' lane. Same dudes that used to holler my engineer's name.
I'll save what my crew did for later. However, there were talks at the time that the shots were actually for R&B singer Marcus Voice. I won't retell the legendary story on how the tape got on Lil Wayne's radar, But we all knew at that point that Wayne and Young Money were looking to sign Drake. At a show with Lil Wayne in Toronto in 2009, Drake performed the song I'm So Fly on stage with Big Page in attendance. Only thing is, Drake did not bring Page up on stage with him and Wayne, adding more salt to Big Page's wounds. Big Page fired back on a series of songs with no effect to Drake's image. But when Drake got robbed near the new Ho King restaurant and the snitching rumor started to float around, Big Page saw his opening. At this point, he was doing interviews dissing Drake, calling him a rat.
I was about to jump off, so I go, all right, give me a 2-2. I'm about to, run for the blicky. Like, what's really good? You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, one line. Before I could even touch the car door, you see what I'm saying? Before I could even grab the door, my nigga Sean hits me up, my nigga Getty. He's like, yo, this guy just called me, man. He said, yo, come back and talk about this. Like, man. So I'm like, before I even could walk to the car, this nigga called my homies. I'm like, you know what? I feel like it's a setup anyway, so I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Drake was already moving around in the US, writing for Dr. Dre's writing camps and more, so he wasn't as concerned with the Toronto scene. Drake was on the rise, and one night after a Young Money show in Miami, Drake hit the club to continue to party with Lil Wayne and others. Coincidentally, Big Page was at the same club in the VIP section. According to Big Page, as soon as Drake saw him, Drake whispered to a security guard, and subsequently, Big Page was asked to leave the club.
Keep the peace and just, build. So I'm there now. I'm in the VIP booth. The manager of the club and the promoters put me and my people in the VIP upstairs. So I'm chilling in the VIP, whatever, and I'm feeling uncomfortable anyways because, I'm around people I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Toronto, and you know what I mean? The situation was weird. So all of a sudden, I see Drake comes. I'm sitting to the left, he's sitting to the right. His table's to the left, mine's to the right. So all of a sudden I see him like spazzing out. So when I see him spazzing out, I just fall back a little bit in the cut and I kind of just take in what's going on. So he calls his manager CJ over and basically huddles up, talks to his manager for a minute, and then his manager walks to security, and I'm watching the whole thing happen. So his manager walks to security called police. 2 police officers and like 3 security guards walked up to me. So I'm watching them walk up to me, and then I'm like, can I help you? Like, yeah, you have to leave this area.
Now, there's a different account of this story from someone who was there and told me that Big Page was not kicked out of the club and left on his own when he saw Drake and his team. However, this would end Drake's home beefs, or at least the ones that he could hear at this point. By 2010, Drake had dropped his debut album Thank Me Later and was quickly becoming the world's most famous rapper. There was mixed emotion from the local hip-hop scene, with a lot of people proud of Drake's success, and some bitter, and some believing Americans picked the wrong Canadian. There were local rappers making diss songs, and the snitching allegations were still brewing, but Drake was way too famous to hear that, nor care. This would bring us to the legendary Toronto rapper TRA, aka the Rhyme Animal.
That's just the way it was supposed to go, you know? Big up to the whole OWL camp. Make sure you guys keep running your things. Do it, you know what I mean? That's the way it's supposed to be, you know? And it's just so that it happened like that. And I'm glad it did because, look, we have the biggest star in the world from here. You know what I'm saying?
Trey was part of the legendary Toronto rap group Empire that I mentioned earlier, and founder of the SARS Sick Artist Running Shit mixtape series that would feature rappers from across Canada and from the US. Empire consisted of Trey from Mississauga, Scandalous and Tech Man from Scarborough in the East End, Toxic from Toronto's West End, Adam Bomb from the West End of Toronto closer to downtown, and the later edition Messiah also from Mississauga. The crew was popular in the city for being lethal spitters, and along with rhymes, they had production, including a young Noah Shabib, later known as 40 Days, 40 Nights, or OVO 40. Remember that lyric from the 2009 So Far Gone mixtape?
Came bigger, swerving right into my peers' lane. Same dudes that used to holler my engineer's name.
Well, at that time, the lyrics set off the Empire crew and they were preparing for lyrical warfare. Members of Empire were ready to 6v1 Drake lyrically, and shots were even taken at Drake on the SARS mixtape back in 2009.
Yeah, now let me tell you about some rappers that I actually know. Hate my guts, but wanna give that to me though. This little industry puppet name.
Now, around 2008 is when Drake met 40 and started working with him heavily. Prior to that, besides Empire and Marcus Voice, 40 had produced for Canadian legends like Socrates, Divine Brown, and Chaos. To be honest, we were never jealous of 40 working with Drake. but when we heard the lyrics, we were kind of blindsided. Talks went on behind the scene, and Drake explained that the diss was actually for singer Marcus' voice. However, we didn't believe it, but on my advice, I told the team to stand down and refrain from dissing Drake. In February of 2010, I was arrested and remained in jail for a bit over a year. In that time, Empire broke up, and all the rappers decided to pursue solo careers. By 2011, when I came home, I would watch their music videos on YouTube. That's when I saw a wild thumbnail on Tre's YouTube channel with a t-shirt with a tied-up OVO owl with X's for eyes. It was a must-click thumbnail, and I opened the video to a song with a barrage of disses going at Drake. The video was followed up with more songs going at Drizzy, then all of a sudden it stopped. Now, it's not clear if Drake heard the songs, but one person who did was OVO 40. However, based on the reaction from the last Nardwuar interview, I think he heard it.
The rhyme animal.
Wow. That's a good one. Yes, sir. Trey.
At the end of the day, with such a long-time friendship with 40, Trey decided to take down the music video and squash the beef. Drake's star continued rising, collecting hit after hit, plaques and awards. From there, the Drake stimulus package was born. That's when a Drake feature started changing people's lives. He started OVO Records with Oliver El Khatib and 40, and started signing artists like Majid Jordan and Party Next Door. By 2015, the local scene started to have a resurgence. Trap music had taken over Toronto, and some of the more lyrical rap was taking a back seat. This didn't stop East End rapper Dre Barrs though. Big salute to Steamin' Hot Grabba with a variety of different Grabba flavors and dispensers. They got Red Rose Grabba, that Red Herring Grabba, and Peanut Butter. Hit them up on their Instagram page, Steamin' Hot Grabba, and use the code WeLoveHipHop and receive a discount on your order. Again, you can find them on Instagram, Steamin' Hot Grabba. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah.
People like that version. Like I like your hoodie.
Dre Barrs came up through the streets and the Toronto jails, doing time from when he was a juvenile. He was also a full patch member of the Rough Riders Biker Club, but I'm not sure if that's where it ends. From a fight in a nightclub in late 2015, things got a little ugly for Dre Barrs and his team when they ran into some of the OVO goons and things got heated.
I don't like that side. I was good with these guys. I've done enough time with their whole and shit. Like, I'm certified.
Yep.
Like, and they're certified. Those guys, I don't necessarily know them too tough. But whatever. We're in a club one night. Situation happened with a homie of mine who's not here no more. R.I.P. to him.
R.I.P.
Bang out, fighting in the club. We took L's. There was maybe 6 of us, 7 of us. A whole heap of them. And yeah, we took L's that night. And yeah, ever since that, I felt like that's another one that we can't really go do no street with. That time I was a full patch member in a chapter with, I got members on bikes who are females.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So to put my people in that type of drama with these type of people, it'll be bad for our city,
Yeah, for sure.
So I just felt like, okay, once again, I can't let this go because my pride's hurt in this situation.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're gonna rap.
As mentioned, Barrs' only resort was bars, pun intended, and from that point, that's when the lyrical shots started to fly. He released Summer 15 with M3G member Rice Gutter, as well as 6 Up.
Saw jokes when I get in rush, can't express it enough. Type of niggas go to Starbucks, buying espresso and such. New Toronto, we're all Toronto, same shit. Nah, just keep 6, cause 6 up whenever Drake snitch.
In both songs, he attempted to call Drake a snitch for the chain snatching incident that was previously mentioned and extensively covered in many other videos. At this point, you don't have to do a lot of homework to find out that Drake in fact did not snitch on the 2 men for them to get caught by the police, and did not testify on the 2 men in court because he was in LA during the time of their trials. And some may say it was intentional. Nonetheless, Dre Barrs continued the Drake dissing and even went on legendary radio host Star aka Troy Terrain's YouTube show to express his hate for Drake.
So now you have no affiliation with him. I was under the impression that something happened by way of someone's chain getting snatched, someone snitching, paperwork, and all that sort of thing. Are you denouncing that?
I'm not denouncing nothing. The facts are the facts. The paperwork's out there. You can Google that. It's on Google. Jay got jacked. Two dudes jacked him.
The only thing that ended Dre Barrs' lyrical onslaught was incarceration. In 2020, Dre Barrs was arrested for an alleged shooting that he was on the run for several years. At the same time, it is not known if Drake ever responded to Dre Barrs, since Drake is known for sending a lot of subliminal disses that need to be decoded. However, when I listen to that song, Can't Take a Joke, I believe that he's addressing a lot of local ops as opposed to what fans think of the disses being catered to Kanye West and other big names. One person that Drake did respond to, though, was KG from the Toronto group Scrap Gang.
Drakey gay and everybody know it. I be really by the Al Capone killing OVO. I made that my devotion. Everybody dick fire.
The Scrap Gang was a three-man group composed of brothers KG and Fresh, now known as Freeze, and Yogi, who left the group, bringing them down to two. The crew, representing the East End of Scarborough, was connected to Drake's producer Boy Wonder and worked with Boy Wonder during Drake's come-up. In 2017, Scrap Gang pulled up on my podcast, the We Love Hip Hop podcast, to do an interview. In the interview, the team expressed their disdain for Drake, saying that he had stole their flow on two songs, including Back to Back, which had a similar flow to their song Only Options.
No nonsense. Gotta get that money, nigga, that's my only option. Never took a day off or had an off day. Sipping Henny, nigga, I don't do the Bombay. Got some killers with me, they do it in broad day. Probably think that I'm a Rocky with this long K. Conscience, yeah, and fuck you left the boy no options. I wanna see my niggas go insane.
Also, they did a song on a Boy Wonder beat called Instant, which they say inspired the flow for the hook on Drake's Sneakin' featuring 21 Savage.
Watch me make it back in the instant. Pulling out the chopper in the instant. They hate it when the gun nigga win.
Niggas keep reaching and dissing. Getting for mistakes, not on listen.
The team detailed that at the time they were doing all of their music with Boy Wonder, and there was a potential that Boy Wonder played the songs for Drake. However, because the audio from my interview was trash, I'm going to run a clip from the Secret Sauce interview where they explain the whole thing.
When did you actually first notice that his song sounded similar? Like, what were you doing? Like,
well, to be honest with you, we found out we didn't the one hitting us up on Instagram. Yeah, we didn't even know about it. Niggas wasn't even watching this kind of shit. Didn't care. We actually, from Back to Back, when he did our song from Only Option, he did a little piece of that, stole some shit on there. We was like, all right, cool. We'll take that as a compliment. You know? Motivation, you know. But yo, bro, after the nigga hit up the last track, Sneakin', you know what I'm saying, and he stole our whole shit from a track that Boy Wonder personally told me he showed Drake. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
He showed him that video. He told me. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So
at the time, we were a very new podcast with way less listeners and viewers than today. I uploaded the episode to SoundCloud, attempted to upload as much as I could to YouTube, and episode 31 was born. Last thing I did to get the episode moving was post a clip of the Scrap Gang gripe with Drake on my personal Instagram account, Friday Ricky Dread. As previously mentioned, I've been down with OVO 40 since 2002. Due to the fact that he followed my page, that's when he saw Scrap Gang airing their grievances. 40 proceeded to leave the comment waist shoot in the comment section, which I saw in real time. However, weeks later, the waist shoot comment got on the radar of Scrap Gang and things went left.
Most of you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, so you gotta act like you're a fucking demon. But come on, bro. Cause I feel sorry for y'all when you died, my dude. Like, for real.
Days after KG's ominous message, he released a scarring freestyle going at Drake viciously for stealing, snitching allegations, and much more.
East up from the west and only wild niggas coming nothing less. Stealing tracks, you need to cut a check. I'm about to put this more like shit to fucking death. 40, who you calling waist shoes? Had to set me up and made it worse. Boy, when you a bitch, nigga. Calling daddy for your rap beef. Your mama looking like a dope fiend. I can serve her something if she need a fix. Murdered one, I probably speak to 50.
At the same time, raising the level of disrespect by going at 40 for having multiple sclerosis way before Pusha T. Scrap Gang then followed with Death to OVO, where KG and Freeze explained their flow being used, as well as sending shots at 40 for calling them waist shoots. The song was so disrespectful that they even dissed Drake's mother. They even went as far as to remix Nice for What from Drake's Scorpion album, but renaming it Nice for Clout. Oh, and guess who they got on the feature? None other than Dre Barrs.
Like ass tight nigga, you're PD, like if they know me. They used to ask these niggas what hand they use for the road weed, no.
At this point, it was getting too much, and finally, out the blue, Drake responded. On another one of KG's rants, he had a post where he added Champagne Poppy saying, "At Champagne Poppy, biggest fish in the city." Underneath, Drake responded, "Man just wrote about my lips, laughing emoji. You're a fish. You know what city we're in." never far away. Drake and Boy Wonder had had enough, and even Boy Wonder tried to calm the beef, and allegedly his father had tried to intervene, contacting KG directly.
Called us, begging us to take it down.
Oh, are you for real?
Yeah, he called us saying, please, this nigga relieve my dad. This nigga had his pops calling my mom, man. Like,
As a part of this beef, things got sticky for me too, as I was having a hard time choosing whether to post any of Scrap Gang's material out of my loyalty to my friend 40. It was starting to show, and KG, not being one to hold his tongue, started dissing me online as well. Through a series of interviews and Instagram lives, Drake and 40 caught multiple direct shots while I was catching strays.
You know, I'm not new to this, you know. It's just always been about, sorry about that. It's always been about my music, you know, just getting out there to the people, because, you know, it's hard to do that when you don't have certain people or certain things around you to put it on that platform. And
behind the scenes, I had a heated conversation with KG explaining my position on the whole matter. Eventually things cooled down because Drake is technically the biggest rapper in the world, and he would never respond in a direct bar or even potentially subs. At the end of the day, this is how all these battles ended. Drake keeps rising, and until this point now, with the exception of this epic Kendrick Lamar beef, he never slows down. Maybe this is why a long time ago on the So Far Gone mixtape, he rapped, "Diss me and you'll never hear a reply." At that point of his career, he had dealt with battles coming out of Toronto and the internal battles that came from the Screwface capital. He was probably tired of battling at this point already. However, as history shows, Toronto rappers weren't the only ones who demanded replies. Thanks for watching. Peace.
We love hip hop.